Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 1v1 in Crossing in the Woods. Our heroes today are going to be Mr. HelpingHans, playing as the Ostir, or Wehrmacht faction, in the pink, or purple, depending your preference. And his opponent, in the blue, as the Soviets, is going to be none other than BartonPL, the winner of SNF. So, we see a little banter here going on, and Barton spilling the beans right off the bat, telling Mr. HelpingHans that he is going, in fact, for Windustry, which, for those that don't know, it is Soviet industry tactics. It is a doctrine that pretty much gives you a lot of fuel and lets you make a lot of vehicles. And he says, what are you gonna go for? Like, and you, and HelpingHans says CAS, which is Close Air Support Doctrine. And the Kappa comes back. So an interesting fight, I suppose, considering that both players know exactly what the other one is going for now. So we shall now see how it develops. So far, though, we have HelpingHans going tier 1, like you would expect most Ostir or Wehrmacht to do. Getting 2 Grenadiers to start with, and a third one to follow up. For his part, Barton is actually going for Combat Engineers up the Wuza. He already has 3 Combat Engineers on the field and is now starting to work on the conscripts. Has 1 conscript on the field, getting a second one up to this point. Not a bad decision, of course, considering that, well, with industry, he's going to have a lot of vehicle potential. You know, who knows if he's going to have a lot of vehicles so far. But having Combat Engineers around all the time is not a bad idea to have. Also, obviously he does have access to the passive repair station, but you know, those are, well, like most buildings, kind of stationary, so it does give you that flexibility to move around. So anyways, we see a big engagement here over on the left-hand side. Munitions, Combat Engineers and conscripts trying to fend off Grens and Pyos. They do manage to fend off 1 squad of Grens. The second one comes up, supported by Pyos, and they win the engagement, forcing the retreat of one of the Combat Engineers, which was down to 1 man. We have the conscripts actually managing to stay on the field. They are down to 3 men. They are quite brave to stay there. They do have the support of a Combat Engineer squad and a second conscript squad that now comes into the field. The Grens are down to 2 men on the right-hand side. The Pyos have also lost some of their men, but they are in heavy cover. Focus fire continues to go down on the Gren squad, down to 1 man. Can he pick up the kill on the squad? No, I don't think he will. Away goes the Gren squad, and the conscripts are also forced off of the field. Conscripts do put themselves into some light cover by the shrubbery, while the Combat Engineers on the left are also in shrubbery. Grens crossing the distance to get themselves into some heavy cover, making sure that they can win the engagement. And so far, this engagement is very prolonged and very, well, not stalematey, because we can see that HelpingHans is winning it, but it is, you know, a delay tactic, I suppose. Over on the right-hand side, we have a lot of capping going. This fuel income, Barton currently up to 33 fuel per minute, while HelpingHans is 13, so that's a very, very nice difference there. And on top of that, I mean, obviously he has both of the fuel points. When does it happen? Yeah, it actually hasn't even kicked in, because yeah, at Veterancy 3, Soviet industry, it diverts manpower and it gives you more fuel. So you lose manpower, but you get more fuel. Even though, you know, starting right now, he already has that. So damn it, says Barton, as I believe he lost the squad at some point. I did not notice that. I'll see if I can catch that. Yes, actually, let me make those notes. They seem to be working pretty well.
Engineers ready for assignment.
There we go. Okay, so anyways, HelpingHans just pushing very heavily over on the left-hand side. Now has 3 Grens on the field, Pyos with flamethrowers to support. So as many conscripts as we have now, which are 3 on the field, they are pretty much helpless to stop these guys. They are just delaying and trying to hold the line. They do. Conscripts swap down to 1 man, forced to retreat. The other conscripts backpedal into some light cover. Combat Engineers come up to support, as we see that Barton has replaced his Combat Engineer that he lost. A bit of an unfortunate situation, but, you know, they aren't too expensive. Combat Engineers, if we take a look over here, they're only 170 manpower, so it's in the long run not really that big a deal, and considering that he hasn't kicked in with the passive, he still has a decent amount of manpower income, 257. Once he hits the 3, we're going to see how much it gets cut and how much, cut and how much it increases. So over on the left-hand side, the Pyos for Helping Hands are going to try to cut off that fuel. They managed to take it off, but they do not cap it. Down to one man, forcing the retreat. And we do still have Grens just peppered around. Right-hand side, Pyos are also moving around to try to recapture territory as combat engineers retreat. And if you hear some alarms going off in the background, I am robbing a bank as I cast this, so that's, there you go. Anyways, Grens over on the left-hand side, just basically holding the line. They're not pushing forward. There they go now, 2 at a time. Combat engineers with flamethrowers and conscripts will actually stop them cold. They decide to backpedal and get themselves into a better position. They are, they are capable of throwing rifle grenades, but they don't so far. Helping Hands knowing that if he does, he would, he wouldn't hit. It's kind of hard to nail a nasty rifle grenade like that at this level of play. So Grens crossing through the open. We do have 3 squads here, 2 combat engineers and a conscript squad. Conscript squad takes a nasty volley there by the Grens, down to 2 men. Combat engineers with flamethrowers push forward, getting a decent amount of damage in there. We do have the Grens behind them in negative cover, so they're not going to take too much damage from the flamethrower. However, with 2 flamethrowers, you're still going to take some damage, so it doesn't matter if you're sitting in water. It's still going to boil and, well, burn you. 3 points acquired. The manpower you can see now gets cut. It's down to 198 when it was 257 previously. But he does get the fuel benefit and is now up to 49 fuel income. And is also spending the fuel, getting tier 2 and tier 3 going down. Once upon a time, the building of actual buildings also was cut in half essentially by the passives. So you could get vehicles out very, very quickly, ridiculously quickly. That is no longer the case, but it's still a powerful doctrine. It is, weird to see it in not single player, in 1v1, sorry. It's more, popular in the team games. But it's still, still very capable. We actually had a game, I think like 2 casts ago, that we saw Soviet industry being used as well. And yeah, the KV2 worked out decently well there. So, little skirmishes all over the place. We do see Helping Hands laying down some mines wherever possible. These teller mines did get spotted, however, by Barton, and, well, Barton says nope. And the Pyos retreat. And, yeah, not much going on. This engagement will go on for a little bit. The conscripts are trying to close the distance. They get themselves into some light cover, and they actually break line of sight with this shrubbery, so they're going to be able to pop in on the side of the Grens into heavy cover. The Grens do reposition themselves to have the heavy cover as well, so the engagement will take quite a bit. But we now have a T-70 on the field for Barton, as he has gone for tier 3. I'm not sure if I said tier 4 before, but yeah, he went tier 2 to tier 3. And yeah, T-70, very powerful here. The Grens do have Faust, but that's about as much as they have, and the T-70 will push very, very aggressively. We do see Helping Hands using redistribute resources. That means he spends fuel to get munitions. It gives him 150 munitions instantly, but it does spend fuel. That's 50 fuel. So you see now he does not have pretty much any ability to tech, even though he has gotten tier 2, so that's nice. But he does have the ability to call in, well, not really. Well, anyways. T-70 for Barton pushing all the way up to the front of the base. Not going to be risking too much. It looks like it's just going to go for a drive-by, takes a couple shots, and then moves back. He does realize, apparently, that there are some Grens cut off from the retreat point. Never mind. We'll catch that, but the T-70 gets hit by a teller mine, and down it goes. Wow, and yeah, he says lol, and yup. Oh, that is unlucky there for Barton. But thankfully for Barton, though, he does have Soviet industry, so another T-70 instantly replaces his loss, and he is now back on the field. Now, the manpower is going to be the most important resource now for Barton, because he is not going to be able to fuel those reinforcements very quickly. And also, unfortunately for Barton, he does not have field infirmary up, which means that his infantry is not going to be able to heal up and come back to full strength, so he's going to be taking quite a bit of losses there. Panzer Grenadiers with Trex pushing up. The combat engineers are forced away, and the T-70 has taken a nasty hit. does have a damaged engine, but it is capable of repairing as there are 3 combat engineers on the field. The other one also around here, and Barton is going to be spending some manpower and putting up a repair station. Repair stations are, actually I can't see in this thing, so I don't actually know. That's unfortunate. Anyways, so yeah, he sets up a repair station because, well, it is automated repairs. You just have to go back to a point, and they're going to automatically go out there and repair. Having those combat engineers is nice because you can, speed that up and such, but, doesn't mean you don't want to build it. So left-hand side, conscripts are going to push forward. We see more Panzer Grenadiers getting built for Helping Hands. Over on the north, we have a conscript squad engaging Grens. Going to be getting cut off here by another Gren squad. Hits retreat, they're going to have to run through the Grens. It's a little bit of a gauntlet run there. And it's a 2-man squad. Decently healthy for 2 men. So I think it's going to make it out of there. May lose 1 more man on the retreat, but the T-70 is barreling down in their direction and going to be forcing away the Grens. And the Panzer Grenadiers now come onto the field for Helping Hands, so he now has 2. I'm assuming he's probably going to be getting Shreks on those as well. Does not have the munitions, but, well, there you go. Can always, spend the fuel. Conscripts on the left-hand side engaging Grens. Grens were out in the open in the water. They take some additional damage, so they retreat. And the T-70 still just patrolling around. Only 2 kills to its name so far, so not really turning out that well for Barton just yet. Again, his manpower is very low, down to 50, well, 60 now. And he's getting yet another combat engineer squad. Interesting. So 4 combat engineers. I'm not sure if that sound comes through through the mic, but some weird noises going on outside. I have the window open because it's very hot here. And yeah, you needed to know that. Mines getting laid down all over the center here for Barton as he pushes forward with his combat engineers. Combat engineers with flamethrowers running into Pyos with flamethrowers. I believe the combat engineers should win the engagement because they have those rifles in range, but who knows, we shall see. Well, with the second Pyo squad coming up, now that actually turns, and the combat engineers will handily lose this engagement. And away they go. Mines have been laid down. We also have barbed wire across here, although it isn't completely cutting off the approach. So that's nice. This also kind of funnel the infantry to the mine, so that's also a very nice thing to do. And we got Grens, Panzer Grenadiers all over on the left-hand side. These Panzer Grenadiers could get upgraded with Shreks, but so far they don't. We have a pack on the field for Helping Hands, so I suppose he doesn't necessarily need it. 1 Panzer Grenadier squad with Shreks and a pack is, pretty strong to holding off vehicles. Not really great at going hunting, but, I don't think Helping Hands is in the mood to do that. Shreks flying in all... Ooh, nasty hit there. As Gren squad hits a mine, I believe. Gets self-eliminated. Barton throwing the MP game. And yeah, Panzer Grenadiers trying to catch combat engineers, forcing the retreat of them, but they make it out just fine. We do have sweepers on a combat engineer squad for Barton. Helping Hands saying typical. Not sure what he's referring to, but another combat engineer squad did die. And we hear the T-70 hitting a mine over in the center. Sorry, I gotta get a little bit more used to doing that. Ooh, a nice strafing run comes down on the infantry over on the left-hand side as 3 conscript squads and a combat engineer get caught. The T-70 goes down in the center for the pack gun, and yeah, not really going very well for Barton so far. He does have a lot of fuel. The manpower is okay-ish there. He's going to be replacing that T-70 once again, so 3rd one for the game. Haven't panned out so far. Looks like Helping Hands has been doing rather well, and he now has Shreks equipped on both of his Panzer Grenadier squads, so the vehicles, at least the T-70, is going to have a lot of trouble here getting anything done. Shreks are very, very potent against it, and well, the pack gun does have a lot of range, so if it gets hit once, it's most certainly going to get hit a second time, almost guaranteed. So The T-70 once again going into the center. We see a big push here by Pios and Grens. This is kind of the ideal situation. We see a second T-70 on the field for Barton, so it looks like he's going to go for a combo. Grens are going to be throwing a Faust. The T-70s come up in combo here, getting right on top of both of them. Faust does go off into each of the T-70s, but they're going to be able to combine a lot of firepower on the Grens. The Grens do end up retreating. Third squad is still on the field, going to be pushing forward, going to get itself, annihilated. Big mistake there by HelpingHans. He was already backpedaling with it. He didn't really need to do that. T-70s, a pack gun pushes forward, gets a shot off in the distance, trying to see if he can land some of there. And HelpingHans says, of course it misses. And the T-70s back off. Combat Engineers and Repair Station is there, so it's going to be nice. And the conscripts push forward, getting some shots off on the pack. Panzer Grenadiers, they do have Shrek, so they have reduced combat effectiveness. An anti-infantry strafe coming right on top of the conscripts will put an end to that engagement, and the conscripts instantly retreat as they, they really don't want to get shot. And the T-70s are back in action. Combat Engineers with Sweepers moving up to the victory point. As victory points are 415 to 420, pretty much dead even there, nobody's game. And the Grens on the right-hand side are, capturing some fuel. Back at base, has Hans been able to do anything? Not really. He's still techless, but, kind of goes with the Doctrine, considering that he's going to be spending that fuel to just get munitions. Panzer Grenadiers moving very forward up to the front of the base. They backpedal a little bit to the point to capture it. And conscripts are moving towards the center. Over on the far left, the combat engineers are a little bit cut off from there. And HelpingHans says, not there, Kappa. Oh, on the right-hand side. Not sure what he was mentioning. Maybe that the T-70s went over there. And the Grens were retreating, maybe? I don't know. We'll see if we can catch the 17-minute not there.
Anti-personnel mines in place.
So the conscripts in the center are going to be capturing some territory. We still have mines laid all over the place. Panzer Grenadiers and Pios moving around. We have a Teller mine getting laid right here in the path for HelpingHans. Nice little choke point there for the T-70s to run into. A little bit too far forward. Barton, after the first mistake, hasn't really gone that forward with his T-70s. They still gotten killed though. And the conscripts back off as they're getting flamethrowered and shreked at a distance. Conscripts and combat engineers on the left. T-70s push forward, trying to get some combo barrages going there on the Pios. Unfortunately, though, they aren't unable to hit anything, and they have to get out of the way. And on the far right, combat engineers are being used to cap, as a demo charge has been laid down over here on this northern point for Barton. Is he going to be able to catch anything? It looks like he might. We see Grens and Pios pushing forward. The combat engineers trying to bait everybody into them. And is he actually going to fall for it? Barton backs off a little bit. And he is trying to bait them. Pios going to push forward. Panzer Grenadiers moving to the center. And boom! Nice hit there by Barton. And down goes a Pioneer squad with a flamethrower. We do have access to a KV-8 for Barton now, so we'll see if he ends up calling those in now. He actually has enough in both resources for it, so we'll see. Could also go for the KV-2 though. Has not enough manpower for it just yet, but still. Anyways, left-hand side, MG42 on the field for HelpingHans, catching the conscripts as they were trying to hold or recapture the fuel on the left. They are forced to retreat. We do have mines on the field there for Barton. Is anything going to get hit by the mines? Well, we have these Grens moving around. Are they going to go forward? Well, they do go forward, but they don't go for the point as they don't really need to because it's already in their possession, so nobody gets hit by the mine. T-70s moving over to the left-hand side, HelpingHans, well, just basically holding on the left as he controls two of the points. 396 to 404, pretty much anybody's game, and hopefully that barking of the dogs is not coming through in the mic because that's very annoying on my end. And yeah, if it does come through on the mic, I apologize, and it means that I will have to basically sweat myself to death while I cast and close the window for the next time. So anyways, Grens retreating as T-70s, well, forced to retreat. Combat engineers back off. We do have a demo charge once again over on this southern point. Northern point, no demo charge has been replaced. And in the center, we have combat engineers trying to go for the cap of the point and laying down some additional mines. No, he's actually going to be laying down another demolition charge. Very sneaky there of Barton, but he is spending his munitions quite successfully. KB2 now on the field for Barton. Shots gonna fly wherever they want. KB2 is not in range of the pack gun. And the KB2 backs off a little bit. Reconnaissance flight getting activated there for Helping Hands. He's gonna be able to spot the KB2. In the center, we see combat engineers just moving across a nice, interesting positioning there for Barton. He puts them in the heavy cover of those little trench-like fortifications, but not going to cap anything. Just gonna sit there and spot and be in cover. So it's interesting. Interesting. Combat engineers in the center gonna push forward. Flamethrower bursts going off on the Grens as they set themselves up in some cover. Panzer Grenadiers and Grens are in the flank. They get some nice shots going off on the combat engineer squad and force them to retreat. Rifle grenade. Oh, very close there for Mr. Hans. Very nice attempt. Almost gets a hit there. KV2 gonna push into the center. It actually has something in its sights. Panzer Grenadiers gonna push forward. Gonna try and get some. Oh! Eliminates the entire squad completely. Helping Hands going. Really? Really? That's how it's gonna work. Grens throwing off a Faust, but not getting any crit on the KV2, and the KV2. Oh! The Grens get hit by a mine. Down to one man. It's really KV2. And oh, he could have detonated there and eliminated, but maybe it wouldn't have been too worth it. T-70 is going to be coming up for a strafing run. Looks like they're going to go into the base, but this one's going to hit the... No, Tiller Mine is not in range. Shots continue to fly. Down to one man. Oh, misses. T-70 going to hit. No, yes, no, maybe, no. Nice little dancing around there for Barton. Goes back the way he came, and he actually evades the Tiller Mine successfully. Left-hand side, conscripts pushing forward with combat engineers and sweepers nearby. They're going to go for the cap of that munitions point. Sorry, fuel point. And they push forward to see or spot the victory point, which is being covered by the MG42. MG42 spots the conscripts, and there they go. We also see an infantry strafing run on the left-hand side fuel. Getting those conscripts pinned down. Panzer Grenadiers nearby, they're going to throw a bundle grenade, forcing the retreat of both squads, as combat engineers also retreat, and the Panzer Grenadier hits the mine, only killing one man, however, so not too big a deal. T-70 up in the north, another T-70 going over to the left-hand side, as the KV-2 has gone back to base and is getting repaired for the slight scratches and bruises that it got. Cleaning up that painting, buffering out those scratches, and replacing the headlight fluid. Panzer Grenadiers on the left, running into one T-70. They retreat, even though they do have two Shreks. It is kind of risky, as, well, T-70s do eat infantry for a living. Stug, now on the field for Helping Hands. An interesting decision. I mean, Stug does help out quite a lot against the T-70s. But the KV-2 is quite powerful, and not sure how much the Stug can do against it. Pios in the center, getting bombarded by the KV-2. KV-2 kind of reminding me of the ISU in this moment. Stug pushes forward, seeing if it can spot the KV-2 and get a shot off. It actually is going to spot the KV-2. KV-2 going to be turning its turret on it. Shot flies. Oh, nasty frontal hit there on the Stug. Stug down to about half health. Gonna GTFO as it, well, is hurting. And the T-70 around there going to back off. Right-hand side, Ren's taking some shots there by the T-70s. T-70s on a strafing run and drive-by. Oh, down goes the Grand Squad, and Helping Hands is losing units left and right. Not having a lot of luck. Lost connection, says Helping Hands. Windustry, says Martin. And, yeah, it's going pretty well for him. Pack and Stug over on the left-hand side. We do have Pios on the field for Helping Hands. They need to go and repair that Stug if it wants to come into the fight at any point. but he is sending him in a different direction, so it's interesting.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Conscripts on the right-hand side trying to capture some territory. KV2 stopping approaching Panzer Grenadiers. They don't actually take any damage as the crates there manage to absorb most of the shrapnel, but they do backpedal because, well, they don't want to get shot in the face. Shot flies from the KV2 into where a Teller mine had been. It looks like Barton was well aware that either one was there or that Hans is very keen of laying down mines in the place, and it detonates it. Pack and Panzer Grenadiers push forward. The combat engineers backing off. We do see a reconnaissance flight in this direction. Going to be spotting the KV2 once again. Oh, the Panzer Grenadiers not going for the bait in the center. They decide to back off, and they don't get blown up. And on the far north, the conscripts have captured the point as pioneers with sweepers are moving around. They are going to be able to spot that demo charge. However, the demo charge can still be detonated, and it is very risky to try to, Oh no! Yeah, that exactly. Yes, says Barton. Why? He's just helping hands. So yeah, I mean, that is the risk of the demo charge. You can spot it with your sweeper, but even though you can go remove it, it can still be detonated. So it, yeah.
The pack gun is ready for orders.
Conscripts pushing forward, pack gun and Stug trying to stop it. The conscripts do not have AT grenades, so Stug doesn't really have much to worry about. But the conscripts are going to sit there in the open. They do manage to capture or decrew the pack gun. The pack gun instantly getting recrewed by the Pios as they don't want to let off on that anti-tank. And we see a second KV2 coming onto the field for Barton. And with that, I think that closes the game. I don't think there's anything that HelpingHans can do against this. He's already struggling against one of them. The KV2 has acquired 10 kills so far. With the second one, HelpingHans saying he has no comment for this game. Grant's in the center, getting shot by the KV2. Stug going to be returning fire on the KV2, but not breaking the frontal armor. Unfortunate for him. T-70's just on standby on the flank, waiting for a moment's notice to come in. Stug getting abandoned there as both KV2s barrage it. The lead KV2 does take a little bit of a beating there to the pack gun. And the pack gun is just going to go forward for HelpingHans as I think he's just throwing the game there. Maybe a mistake. I don't think it is. I think he's just giving up. He is pushing forward with all his infantry, trying to see if he can catch the KV2s. Panzer Grenadiers going to be getting a nice flank there on the KV2 and getting a decent barrage going. Oh, never mind. Panzer Grenadier gets shot in the face, down to one man, and it backpedals. There is a demo charge right there. HelpingHans. Yeah. Everything's spiraling out of control here. Panzer Grenadiers retreating as the KV2s push forward. The pack gun moving itself over to the left-hand side, trying to stay alive. T-70 on its ass. One T-70 did die. I'll try and see if I can catch that. But these KV2s are just wrecking everything. We see an anti-tank strafe right on top of the KV2s, but remember, those strafes are actually directional. They are not like the call-in abilities that loiter and auto-target. So the KV2s actually managed to dodge that completely. And Barton's going to push forward. Barrage goes by the KV2, or shot flies by the KV2. HelpingHans throwing out an LOL. The Shrek probably getting picked up by somebody. Anybody? No? Well, who knows. And the this is just mean. The combat engineers for Barton are laying down a demo charge on the pack gun in case anybody tries to pick it up. You can also do that with a mine. It also works very similarly. Grant's pushing forward as conscripts try to go capping the point. 296 to 398. Barton with a 100-point lead already. The Stug gets capped by Barton and stolen. FU, says Barton, as he runs away with the Stug. And yeah, I mean, he now has a complete armada as these guys are indecisive on who they want to go repair. There's 3 repair stations on station here. GG goes to the Helping Hands. He knows, throws in the towel, and that is game. So you can see here the Soviet armored convoy just heading down the field for murder, and that is what the game ended up being. So I hope you guys enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave the comment in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.